After hearing this, seeing all this, experiencing each of these vision meetings, as your pastor, I began to pray to God for a way to express who we are, a beginning expression of what it meant to be Bear Creek. Here's my first shot at a working vision statement for us. Bear Creek United Methodist Church is a thriving, invitive, inclusive community who strives to reach out to the world with the compassion and unconditional love of Jesus. Let me try to flush this out. Bear Creek United Methodist Church is a thriving church. When I think about thriving, I think about going to the doctor's office and taking my child, and the doctor looks at this child and says, things are going great. You have here a thriving young girl. She's growing in all the ways she should be. You should be very happy. When I think of thriving, I think of 25 children coming up to children's message and running out of homemade cinnamon buns, not because Pastor Brooke had 2 before worship, but because we had so many people who wanted to talk after worship. When I think of thriving, I think of people reaching out to the world and helping the world around us thrive. Don't you love that? It should be as natural as waking up in the morning. We are an inviting church. A dying church is one that does not invite. Bear Creek is a church that you love so much you can't wait to invite someone to worship on Sunday morning. And not just to worship, but to our service projects, or our mission trips, or choir and covenant groups. Wouldn't it be cool to have 3 guests join us for our next trip to Honduras? We are inclusive. When I talk to a group of younger couples about inclusion, immediately they refer to our open communion table. They love communion every Sunday because this is where it was made public that all were welcome at Bear Creek. In our church, everyone is welcome at God's table. This is Christ's table, and as Christ's table, we believe it belongs to everyone, no matter what age, or color, or race, or place of origin, or their sexual orientation. Even 49er fans are welcome here. That's being inclusive. We're a community, and we take that seriously. We're a place where people feel like they belong, and there are too many people in this world that don't have a place, a family, a spiritual home. We can be that place for folks. We are a community that strives. This one isn't easy. What does it mean to strive? For me, it means giving everything we have. This isn't just a one-time effort. This is who we are. We strive with all our hearts, with excellence. We're a community that strives to reach out. I don't know. To me, reaching out can kind of be confusing. I kind of like living in the world, because reach out seems too much like you're just kind of being in our safe place and reaching out with one arm as we drive by. Well, I disagree. For me, to reach out is to reach out like Jesus does, with arms full out. And like the prodigal son's dad, not only reaching out, but running out to folks as well. I like it. We are a community that strives to reach out to the world. Not just our immediate neighbors, but to the world. As much of it as we can. To the poor, to the homeless, to those in need. But also to our neighborhood, to our schools and to folks right next door who need help. I like the mix. We strive to reach out with compassion. When I think of compassion, I think of Jesus' story of the Good Samaritan. He sees that guy lying on the ground, and the way Jesus tells it, he looks at him with compassion. He cares about this guy. His heart is touched. As Larry says to Bob in VeggieTales, I laughed, I cried, it moved me, Bob. That guy's situation moves the heart of the Good Samaritan. His heart won't let him leave him. His heart insists he helps. That's the way I want to look at the world. And I think that's the way Bear Creek wants to too. With the unconditional love of Jesus. Are you kidding me? This is what it's all about. In Jesus, I am loved unconditional. That means so much to me, but the way I pay that back is by paying that forward. And that means loving others unconditional, whoever they are. That means the gal on the street, the guy at work. That means the child abused and neglected, and those closest to me that I know so much that it's hard to love them sometimes. For me, this is the central message of the cross and of the gospel. Unconditionally, no matter what, God loves you and me. How can we not share that with the world?